lot of little guys torn up on the floor. Oh. Munching on that thing. Oh my gosh. Hey guys, and welcome to GT Not Live, where this morning, today, Sam and I are getting pumped up. We are getting pumped up in a profound way. Sam and I came into the studio this morning and we were feeling a little low energy, right? So we wanted to, remedy that somehow. We wanted to get ourselves in the brain space, in the mindscape zone, to do this episode. And what better way to do that than to stream on YouTube Darude Sandstorm in 2024. And wow, I've never watched the full video before. It is art. It is Kino in a way I did not anticipate.
No, this is very much a music video that is frozen in time.
Right?
If you watch this, you will understand exactly what 2006 was like in the world.
Right? It feels like this is on my TV, which is still like squarish and boxy, and I'm getting ready to go to kindergarten, right? Like that's what it feels like for me. Like
we gotta pump ourselves up to get into kindergarten too. Same that we did in the studio this morning. I was like, that addition's really gonna get me today. I'm not feeling like doing 4 + 5. It's
like, oh my gosh, I have to sit at the red table for lunch.
Oh, I gotta learn bunny ears on my shoelaces. Come on, Darude, help me out. Your teacher's like, all right, now put the fox in the hole, and you're just like, your head banging over there.
I'm like learning how to write my name, and like, hey, line, I can't say I'm not tempted.
Guys, show some love to GT Live's comment on Darude Sandstorm.
I'm a little, whenever I go to old videos like this, I want to be the one that leaves that comment of like, who's here in 2024?
That's probably better than doing first. 276,350th.
I love commenting first when I am not at all the first.
We're the last. Somebody go find this comment.
Please.
Pause the video, go find this comment, and let us know. Post it on the subreddit if you find it or if it gets buried somewhere. It's going to be hard to find, I imagine.
I don't know. How many people are commenting on Darude? Oh, wow. 2024 and still on the peak. By Daily Journal.
Right? I think this might get buried. If somebody finds this, kudos to you.
Boink. Translate to English. Boink.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, post it on the subreddit, and we're going to do a meme review, actually, in the next couple of weeks.
Oh,
we have a meme review coming up.
Good work.
Yeah, I'm sliding the promo in there.
Yeah, good for you.
So we have a meme review coming up in a couple of weeks. Obviously, there's been a lot going on here, so I'm sure you guys have a ton of... We've already seen some awesome memes about the Louisville Slugger, about... Wooly when your friend fixes your roller skate.
Yeah, classic. Actual car, Owen Wilson
100%
has gotten a lot of love on the subreddit.
I also think it's worth saying, I had absolutely no idea that Owen Wilson was in Cars.
Did you not know?
I absolutely no idea.
You didn't know he was Lightning McQueen?
Not at all. I was like, oh, that's a funny guy to voice a car. He's Owen Wilson. Like, he doesn't sound like a car. I
would love to go back to watch Cars and see if he did the when he went around the racetrack, because I don't think he did. When we were engaging in this lovely conversation, I was very much imagining like Owen Wilson in the flesh on all fours. He's got like little cutout wheels attached to his elbows, and he's going. He's
in a red bodysuit, and he's got a red bald cap on, and he's kind of got his tongue hanging out like a dog. He's ready to go.
Okay, I didn't anticipate the tongue part, but like, yes to the idea of like Transformer Owen Wilson.
Yes.
Right? No, he was Mr. Ka-chow himself. But you know when you just want more of that? Like they had a taste of greatness. That was our free trial, our sample.
They could have had a whole bowl of greatness.
Exactly. Let the man be a vehicle.
Please. Well, somebody let the man be a vehicle.
Let him drive. Let him be the driver. Or the driven.
The driven.
The driven. Is someone driving Owen Wilson? Like if he's a car, does he have a driver? Or is it just him?
I think his brain is the driver.
Whoa.
Right?
Whoa. all in here.
The brain is all of our drivers.
Yes, and today I am driven by the new Poppy Playtime Chapter 4 teasers that have come out in the past month. You seem much less impressed by that segue than my previous ones.
No, I think you steered it in the right direction.
Thank you. I was about to, pump the brakes, but
No.
I might as well accelerate into this episode.
Yeah, no, you got the green light here.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anytime.
Vroom. So today we're going to be checking out the teasers for Poppy Playtime Chapter 4, right? We played Chapter 3 on this channel. Was it last January or February? I know that Chapter 3 got delayed, right? So it came out a little bit later than anticipated. Cool and fine. But that was a really fun playthrough, and we're already getting bits and pieces of what Chapter 4 is going to look like, not only through the teasers that we've seen so far, but through the ARG that has been going on for this specific chapter. So, synthesizing some of the information from that ARG, I wanted to provide a little bit of additional context and analysis to two of the teasers. There was one, the first one that came out, and then we just got a second one as well. I think that one's titled Yarnaby. So those are the two that I want to look at. And then I think we'll head over to the Mob Entertainment Twitter, where they have the pictures of these nightmare critters that are going to get introduced. But we'll get there. That's just the what's to come of the episodes. Kappa P all the way through. So without further ado, let us depart from the sandstorm, go into the clear, and let's check out Chapter 4 teaser trailer. Is there anything I'm missing?
No, I don't think so. I think people, if you'll remember where we left off at the end of Chapter 3, the character descended down that little elevator shaft thing with Poppy, I believe.
Poppy was with the character, and we were looking up from the elevator, and we couldn't see what was happening, but we know that Kissy Missy got yoinked, for lack of a better term. There's actually plenty of better terms, but she got yoinked. She got
yoinked is a great term.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. So let us hop into here with that context and see what we got. Oh boy. Okay. So we already got one of our little smiling critters friends knocked out in front of a big pile of boxes. I'm not quite sure where we are here. Looks like it's begging to get brightened in Photoshop. But before any of that, let's take a look through, and then we'll go back and parse this out, right? So let's do it. I didn't even need to go bright. It immediately brightened up. Oh, Matthew, your energy lives on. All right, let's see. Oh, little dog day. Also, this is blaring right now. Apologies for all the mic bleed that is bound to ensue. Wow, okay. A lot of little guys torn up on the floor. Oh. Munching on that thing. Oh my gosh. Oh. Ooh. Oh. Oh man. Huh. 4. It's the next number. January. I assume that means Chapter 4 January and not 4th January this is releasing. But who's to say? They could be being English about it. No, so let's take a deeper look. This is a short thing, so I wanted to get the full experience shown, and then we'll go in, right? So let's check it out. So we have this big ol' empty space, maybe like a storage area or something, right? And we have over here, let's take a look. We have Dog Day coming in. One of the Dog Days, there's actually multiple as we could see up here. This one's all torn apart. Along with a lot of our other smiling critter friends. We got Kickin' Chicken, who kicked the bucket. Kicking the bucket chicken.
The bucket of fried chicken?
Kicking chicken, kicking the bucket of fried chicken. That's even darker than just
kicking the frickin' chicken.
Kicking the frickin' chicken. KFC.
Kicking frickin' chicken. What'd you do today? Some KFC.
Yeah, that's... Ugh. All right, so we're going up here. Again, is that a little catnap? That looks like a little catnap that might have gotten busted up. But yeah, it's unclear, at least to me, where we might be otherwise. And over here, okay, so that's gonna be our little sheep guy who went and, you know, absolutely obliterated Dog Day. Here's what stands out to me about this, right? It's important to note that Dog Day is eating the, what seems like carcasses of these other smaller toys, right? And we know from the experimentation that happened within Playtime Co. that they started out trying to make these smaller toys, you know, living, right? That wasn't working out entirely as planned, and so they went to the Bigger Bodies initiative to try to make these bigger bodies, these bigger toys, right? So they have Boxy Boo, then we see our other larger toys, right? Huggy Wuggy, Kissy Missy, the whole squad, right? But it seems like a lot of these smaller toys got created and, you know, experimented with kids on to create them, right? That's a lot of them that hit the bucket. I mean, look at this. Look at these piles. That is so many. We have like Cat Bee sticking out here, Boogie Bot over here as well. That's so many of them.
One
right?
of the interesting things that I maybe will make it less dark if these are all individual kids is the first, in the first game, when you finish the Huggy Wuggy chase and, you know, you push him off the rails or whatever, and he bangs against stuff, he bleeds.
Yes.
And so he, and I think a lot of the earlier toys were actually organic.
Yes.
And what we've seen here from at least the smaller versions of the Smiling Critters is that they're not. Like, I see Dog Day goes in to kind of, you know, chomp on this, but we're seeing, like, the stuffing coming out of the toy. And sure, there's, like, some residual, what looks like blood on the ground, but from the rest of these piles of toys, they don't appear to be organic. They appear like they've mostly just been torn apart. And even though they have, like you said, like they are alive in a lot of ways.
It's interesting because this, back here, this definitely looks like dried blood splatter, right?
It
because
does.
What would the impetus be to eat a bunch of, like, and this looks intestinal too, coming out of here because it is pink and red toned, right? What would, if all of these toys, because we know they have intestines, right? We know this from previous entries in the game and previous lore tapes. They are all intestinal. What would the impetus of it be to eat stuffing and things that aren't meat or nutritious, right? Because that wouldn't fully... Now I'm just like looking for blood. I'm on like a blood hunt.
Right, because the difference is in chapter 3 when like the full size Dog Day was like chained up and in like the basement area that we had to get to towards the end, like you could see he had intestines hanging out and he was bleeding and he was alive, like he was talking to us.
Right.
He's the one who told us to run and do all that. The smaller toys, I don't know if they're organic to the same level. I don't think.
I went back to Darude. I believe they are. I believe they are in the sense that if we're seeing them shown as food, right? And this doesn't have to be a recent slaughtering. This could be a collection of like leftover old carcass, right? Because we've also seen some of these smaller toys get eaten by Mommy Longlegs and that leaving blood behind, right? Like in those chapter 2 early teasers. You know what I mean? So I could see these being a bunch of failed experiments or just like old, discarded, failed ones. Because otherwise, what reason does Dog Day have to eat them? So if this is like a graveyard, therefore, then I could see like going here to eat remains. But Dog Day is eating, you know, these remains, and then our little black sheep friend goes up and munches on something that is still living, which is a weird differentiation, right? And I think that early on, when this was released, we kind of jumped to the conclusion that that meant that the sheep, whose name is Baba Chops, was our big bad, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's a very logical conclusion given that outside of the ARG especially, we hadn't really seen a whole lot about what Chapter 4 was going to, entail and who we were going to be fighting against, right? But we see that this little guy is kind of chomping without regret. There's a whole pit here of options that, we've seen are apparently edible from Dog Day, and he's not going after. But we see him out here, and then you have this, devious little smile, right? So it also opens up the question, especially because he's going after a smiling critter. What's the deal behind the nightmare critters?
Mm-hmm.
Just overall, why do they exist? Was this a spin-off line or a following line to the Smiling Critter toy releases? Why would you release something and brand it around nightmares and scary things? It's a thing to consider about Playtime Co.'s motivations. Another thing I want to call out that I'm seeing up here, this box has a pattern.
You're welcome.
Thank you. This pattern on the box has been coming up a lot, right? We have the yellow square on the inside, and then the blue, and then the red. This has been prevalent in the ARG as well. This pattern just keeps coming up, especially in promotional material, without much explanation as to what it is and why. I mean, just to spitball, right? I mentioned earlier that Boxy Boo was one of the first successful of the bigger bodies, right? And we see here, we have the yellow in the center, and then the blue, and then the red, right? Is that representative of Boxy Boo to some degree, just based on that coloring? I'm not sure. I keep going to Root Sandstorm.
It's calling you in.
I know.
You're being called.
Boop. So the outer rim of this is still blue. So I don't know if that's just the outer frame of this crate and then what is actually painted on is the red, blue, yellow. Unclear. I'm not sure what that's trying to communicate, but keep an eye out especially for that pattern as you go through this material because it keeps happening. Outside of those, I think those are the really key things here. All these stacks of either dead, discarded toys. Dog Day goes to eat one of these things, but Baba Chops is going for the living thing that is still organic functioning to some degree, right? It definitely sets up that he's going to be important in this next game, but what his role is going to be, especially because Mob confirmed that he wasn't the big bad going forward, a little bit up in the air, but we might get some more information in our next teaser. Maybe I'll check out the description too. Will you escape the horrors hidden within Playtime Co., or will you succumb to the terror? Survival isn't guaranteed. Fear is.
Interesting.
Okay.
Anything interesting in the comments? Anybody have any insightful thoughts?
We could get the jumbo 42-inch PJ Pug-A-Pillar for $60.
Okay, sign me up. I'll take 3.
I like how the calm music still represents that there is still horror behind the scenes of the factory, and also definitely represents how much that horror has been experienced years later. Yeah, love good dissonance. What a cute little sheep. Yeah, that's the fun dichotomy of, they're cute toys. They're also horrific murderers. If this isn't called a wolf in sheep's clothing, that's a damn missed opportunity. I mean, yeah, we are literally dealing with a black sheep, right? So go in. I mean, he blends in with the background really well. But at first seeing this, without the knowledge of the nightmare critters, I would assume that this is a rejected smiling critter, right? And maybe the nightmare critters do fall in that line, like being the black sheep of the group. Because at this point, when this came out, this was all we had. Mm-hmm. Right? We didn't see that there were other nightmare critters in this line. It's an interesting way to depict this character, and the black sheep specific aesthetic feels like a very intentional choice, right? That tells us something about how Baba Chops fits in to this to this chapter, right? That could set him up to be a villain. That could also set him up to be something that was supposed to be a villain or antagonist from our character's point of view, but didn't quite fit in and is now serving a different purpose within the story and serving a different purpose for us, whether that's an aid, whether that's a neutral third party, or, you know, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. But it is important to call that out just from a literary and symbolic standpoint. Black sheep feels intentional.
It's gotta be. And
Right?
I think black sheep relating to being quote unquote like a reject or like an outcast, I think is interesting here because to your earlier point, why would you make this toy?
Right.
And so one of my early thoughts is like, hey, is this a misprint, for lack of a better word? Is this a mistake toy? Who, if they had like a, is
Sorry.
he twerking?
I was making him wag his tail. What?
It looked from where I can see it on the TV, it looks like he looks like he's twerking.
Oh no! No, I was just trying to make him wag his tail a little bit.
Okay, that's much better.
Little happy boy. Here.
I see the wag.
The additional frames, I hope, help.
Yeah, there it is. But I think like if they were trying to make like a sheep toy, feels like it would make sense. If for some reason that sheep toy, it ended up as a black sheep and then became this kind of outcast villain type toy, makes a lot more sense than making a black sheep toy to sell.
Right.
It is kind of weird. I think the other interesting thing is sheep, counting sheep, go to sleep. He's killing you, putting you to sleep. Another kind of related to catnap as well.
Yeah.
A lot of sleep. Sheeps have a lot of imagery with them and like motifs.
Right? Because it's also, sheep are associated with innocence.
Yes, like cowardice.
As well. And then we see the sheep as a killer in this regard. But also, as we see here with Dog Day, this feels like a very desperate situation where there's not a lot of living companionship or food nearby. So this could just be circumstantial of, you know, it could be consequential of the circumstances. So, yeah, a lot of interesting stuff to unpack there, but keep in mind that symbolism as we go into chapter 4 and more of this promotional material coming out. Yippee! All right, let's hop over to this one. This is the one that I believe the big bad is revealed.
Whoa, okay.
That's what I believe. Based also on the ARG, right? So, oh, I'm excited for this. I've seen talk about it online, but I have been refraining from going through it. So, let's experience this together.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Ooh. Huh. What? What? Okay. Let's go back a little bit. Just a little bit. I know we just started this, but let's go back. So we are going down what looks like an elevator shaft, which aligns with what we were doing at the end of chapter 3, right? But I want you to listen closely here. I'm actually going to turn this up, Sam, so that you can hear it too.
Okay.
Right here. Do you hear what sounds like Poppy going, Missy?
Give it to me one more time.
Yes.
Like Britney Spears once said.
Hit me, Ashley, one more time.
That's exactly what she said.
Right? So, you hear like the screeching, like a yell, and then you hear, Missy! At least there's no closed captions, but that doesn't make sense at all. Here's why. At the end of chapter 3, we are next to Poppy. Poppy is going with us. If that's Poppy, that is way in the distance. That is so far away. And that's the same situation that we get at the end of chapter 3, where Kissy Missy gets yoinked and Poppy's going down with us. We should be directly in earshot, like right next to her. But this sounds obscured and muffled and in the distance, which tells me that we are not seeing this through the perspective of our character or the character that we typically play as, because that distance should not be. That should not be the case. Like, unless for whatever reason we were replaying the memory through our little trauma brain and, you know, There's that kind of audio filter on it where it feels like a distant memory, but it's still so raw and fresh and you're playing it back in your mind. But we would still see Poppy in this, right? We don't. Why? Yeah, because we look to the side and she's not there.
Is this what the lift looked like at the end of chapter 3? Because it's very specifically broken.
Yes.
Which is interesting.
Elevator, lift. Let's see. Yeah, that's what we're... Is it this one? Here. I could stream some GT live. Okay, so we're in this kind of circle situation. We're let down. And that is... I mean, you have a little bend here, but that doesn't look like... Oh my gosh. So many tabs. That doesn't quite... Oh yeah, that is so busted compared to what we have here. That is like, we have a little bit of bending through one of the openings, but it's not like an entire side broken open, right?
Is that backside broken though?
Let's see. Matthew. All right, Matt, please go in the elevator. That's Poppy. Hello. It's up against the back of the wall. So it doesn't look broken. It looks like it's just already supported on the back. If we would turn. Also, it looks like just looking at this circular shape, there is much more spacious here than we saw in this. And it's also notably cornered. I don't think this is a continuation. I think this is someone else's point of view.
Okay.
From the end of chapter 3. Ooh. We have flares. And there's this thing at the front. A little control station. Yeah. We're also going way fast. Way fast. Right here.
Oh no, not Kissy Missy!
Oh no!
Go. Can we go up? Oh no.
Yeah.
Is that the same audio? Because it's her yelling Kissy.
Yeah, this is the same voice line.
Interesting.
Can we go up?
But we're hearing it in a very different way.
Oh no.
And she's right next to us, so it's clear. Whereas in this one,
Yeah,
that
it definitely
is
sounds further away.
way distorted.
So do you think this is a different POV of somebody doing something at the same time that happened?
I am inclined to believe that.
Okay.
I am inclined to believe that.
That's interesting. I mean, I guess maybe we'll figure it out in classic GT Live fashion in the next 30 seconds of this video.
And then it's like, my name is Rich, and I was going down this lift.
I am not Poppy. This is a different point of view.
I'm an additional person in Playtime Co. at this time, which is still kind of like, because, we know that Ollie is around, right? But we haven't really encountered any other people, just like toys. So that's bizarre. Okay. We are at 7 seconds. Let's see what's going on. This feels... Oh. Some kind of magma? Okay. What? Wait, I'm glad I paused there. I didn't mean to. Caves? Caves 1C? Are we in caves? Under Playtime?
I mean, we were going underground. Or down, I guess. I don't know that it's underground.
Typically, if you're going down, though, you're going to a basement. Like, I don't typically go down to go into caves, but maybe that's just my very specific life experience. Unless you often go into various facilities and want to head down to the caves.
No, I can't say I'm a common spelunker, but that felt like a fairly substantial elevator ride down.
Yes.
Like they are in Mother Earth. They're in the Terra.
They're down there.
Yes.
Caves 1C, huh? Oh, and it's cold.
Or are those stalactites rather than icicles?
I mean, they're dripping. Are stalactites wet?
Yes.
Okay.
There's a lot of condensation underground. I do believe they drip.
All right, stalagmites. Ooh. Ooh, look at all this. That's pretty dang cool. Here. A mound or tapering column rising from the floor of a cave formed of calcium salts deposited by dripping water and often uniting with stalactite. Huh. How about that? Oh, that's muted. Come back, please. Thank you. What is
this juice?
Like, is it, if you, as you called out yourself, we are in that earth. Like,
True.
don't tell me this is some, like, magma. Because it's giving that. Like, are we extracting something from underground?
That is interesting.
Because we're pretty far down there, and that's where you would start to see those deposits and those, like, where that lives.
Yeah, it's also, I don't know that it's exactly the same, but it's the same color as the gas, the red gas. I don't know if this is what the red gas is made of, maybe. If it's, like, aerated.
Fire. It's made of hot. Right? Because, like, we'd assume that it's poppy gas.
Yeah, it
like
looks gaseous as, like, it's flowing through there. It looks a little more gaseous than liquidy to me. Like, you can see it a little bit better here. Like, the form of the shadows in there shift in ways that liquids don't.
So, it's all flowing in one direction, though. So is there, like, a wind or a current that would be carrying that gas through, right? Because that's really interesting. I also, with the assumption that it's poppy gas, right? Or
Sure.
it's from, like, opium, you wouldn't need to go so far underground to extract it.
No.
Unless there was something else at play here, and we made the assumption it was opium or from a poppy because the name is Poppy. Here, Earth, take this. Ooh. Yeah, even more of these guys, huh? Completely torn up, too. And you could see, like, some of the, is that shadow or blood? It's hard to see, but you're seeing some streaks on the back of these for sure. There's a lot of them. My gosh.
Oh, there's that symbol.
Yes, exactly. So, and this one is just the red, the blue, and the yellow. There's not that blue external barrier or border here. Why? Because this isn't even in a place that, like, other people would see. So it's not like a public-facing subliminal symbol. It's to be communicated to people who are working here, right?
Yeah.
So I could see that could be tied to, like, a, hey, remember what we've done. Like, this is symbolic of what we're trying to do, a message to the workers themselves, right? Ooh, looks like a little rat. Okay. Ugh. Wow, it's a lot of it, huh? Okay, is that coming out of the pipe, or is that just, like, gas happening? I don't know. There's red on the walls, so it could just be like an air coming out. No, show me more, please. Where are we? Like, this is a weird underground unit. Like, that looks like some weird secluded room. You have, like, a seat or what could be like a bed hanging by chains and attached to this wall over here. You can see that down here. And then if this is like, yeah, if that's a place where someone's supposed to sit or rest or lay down and there is some kind of gas or air getting pumped into that room, like, is this an experimentation chamber for the kids? right? Like, were some of them brought down here for either their changing and rebirth as a toy for other scientific endeavors? This feels odd. And this is a weird detail to highlight if it was not important in this context. I guess if you had like a rogue toy that you wanted to put to sleep, but...
Right? If you got a huge Huggy Wuggy in there and you're like, we got to get him up to the surface, he's just going to eat you if you don't knock him out.
Yeah. Ooh. 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 Ugh. Ugh.
Ew.
Ugh. Ugh. Oh, gross. Okay. This looks like a little... That looks big, too. Okay, so we're dealing with a big body here.
Interesting that the security cameras still work.
Right? So obviously people are down, which kind of further proves the point of there being some like additional experimentation down here that needs to be closely like surveyed, right? Because it seems like we are now in some kind of office that we could assume is down here on that same level, but it's a big creature. What's this in the ground? Is that, maybe we'll get closer to it, but... And there it is again. There it is again. They love this thing. It's like the unofficial internal logo.
It is, honestly.
They love it. What is going on here? Ooh, ugh, ugh, oh, bleh. Wow, okay. So this might just be our friend who we saw got squashed, right? There's actively dripping blood. There's a bunch of blood on the floor here. It seems to be purple, same color. And then this eye imagery. But also, eyes have been popping up a decent amount too in this franchise, but never fully explained. Oh? Oh? We singing? Oh. Oh, it's wet. Ugh.
Yeah.
Like saliva. Wow. But does it kill us? Like, maybe I'm biased because this thing is, honestly, it's kind of cute. You know, he's just like happy, a little rainbow.
He's chilling.
He's with big teeth. And then, and he's got two mouths. He's got two mouths, which is interesting, but also... Why aren't we... I would expect to see us getting killed, you know? But we're not. Like some kind of jump scare, but he's just like, hi, ah, you know? Why is that? So, here's where the ARG comes into play, right? We do learn a little bit about Yarnaby, which is his name, and potentially the kid that was before that kid was turned into Yarnaby, right? This kid that was very obedient, and this was turned into Yarnaby, but there was a specific loyalty that was dedicated to Dr. Sawyer, Harley Sawyer. Sawyer is presumably the doctor behind a lot of this experimentation, was at Playcare as a kid, now is running a lot of these experiments, right? So, here's what that leads me to believe. We are in a section of Playcare that seems to be very exclusively employee only, plus like a bunch of these disposed of, discarded toys that are just ravaged. Maybe they just couldn't fend for themselves. There's also a little guy back here looking around, right? So we have this beginning section where the events at the end of chapter 3 are simultaneously happening, but we are not us in the game, right? We're going down to this experimentation facility. It seems like there is an offering being presented to us. Like, I don't want to relate it to like a retriever dog, right? But they would go and hunt something and bring it back, and it's like, aren't you proud of me? I hunted this thing. And then we look over and we see Yarnaby, right? So does that mean, also I just noticed all the blood coming down from this thing that it just killed. Ugh, gross. Part of me does wonder if we are looking at this through Sawyer's point of view, therefore, right? If Yarnaby is presenting us like, hey, look, I did this thing. Aren't I a good little yarn dog thing with 2 mouths, but like a third fake one that is more public facing, you know? Because it's clear we're not who we are. This feels so specific. So specific. And then we see us not dying, but just like a happy little guy next to us and then opening his mouth. That's telling us something very specific. One, more confirmation that Yarnaby is going to be our main, like, big bad in this episode, but I wonder if we're actually going to get more information about Harley Sawyer himself, which has been so needed. And also, for the record, Mob has been doing these, like, chapter 1, the story so far, chapter 2, recap things, and they sound like they're voiced by Sawyer himself, which seems to further imply that there's more to his character that we are going to uncover, right? I think just naturally with him being the doctor behind all these experiments, at least, you know, in the more recent years of Playtime Co., that makes a lot of sense. But it's a very interesting choice to make him like the potentially the perspective character in this trailer. I don't know. That could be a jump to conclusions, but I can tell you one thing for sure. We are not the character we play as in the games in this trailer. Hands down. There's no way. Absolutely no way.
I'd agree with that. That would kind of defeat the whole, what I imagine first part of chapter 4 is going to be, which is going to be our character going down and discovering this location.
Yeah.
Couple of interesting things here that I picked up on. Mm-hmm. One, I think the most interesting thing from this whole thing to me is that there's another human being in the building at the same time as us.
Yes.
The whole time it's been like the factory's closed down, we were called back, and it's just us against the toys. But this is showing, or I think it's showing, there's another person in the building with us. Mm-hmm. And the security cameras at the end, the fact that one, they work and they're on and they're moving.
Yes.
And they were moving as whoever this character is was going down the hallways. So either they're automatic, which is possible, or 2, there's another person watching what's happening and kind of looking with the cameras to follow the action.
I mean, at the very least, it's telling us that this is maintained. This is an actively used space.
Yep.
So whether or not there is at least one person in the building, it is at least accessed and used enough where these things still work. We know that there's internal electricity generations, like generators, generation systems, in this space. But again, to your point, having it followed seems to prove that we are not the only not... It seems to prove that we are not the only not toy. Presumably. It would be whack if Sawyer was a toy. So
yes.
I don't think there's enough evidence to say that Sawyer wouldn't be a human at this point, unless for whatever reason he's experimenting on himself. So let's stick with the assumption that Sawyer is human and we are not the only human. Hello, we're back. We had some audio interference, so we had to jump, skip, and come back. But Sam and I were talking and pontificating about what this scene could mean, whether it's just implying that Sawyer is in the building or telling us, you know, something additional about potentially like Yarnaby's relationship to whoever we are, because this is giving us a lot of information about what is generally happening, presumably below Playcare, which would make sense. But yeah, we reviewed, like, I'll even show y'all. Here, let me duplicate this tab real quick. We went back. It's like, do you want to organize this? This is a mess. Organize tabs? Nah, we'll go crazy. We're looking back at previous teaser trailers for chapters 2, 3, to kind of see what the deal was and if there was a different feel or energy. Because it feels very intentional in this to have it set in a particular office with what the ARG set up about who Yarnaby is and what his dynamic is with Sawyer. This feels like it might hint at that. But we wanted to go back and see if there was a different perspective within the other teaser trailers that might imply that, you know, maybe more of these weren't through the eyes of the playing character. But here's the second trailer, in the way that this is one of the, kind of the second trailer. They're titled a little bit differently. This says teaser and this just says trailer Yarnaby. But for Catnap's reveal, you hear what seems like yelling in the background. And you just have him like menacingly approaching and looking at you. And I don't know if that's just because of like, ooh, here's the reveal, spooky, scary, or if it's because, again, we are recognized, right? Going back to chapter 2, teaser. This is one of the oft analyzed lines from Mommy Longlegs. I know this has appeared in multiple game theories. And we're like, oh, is she hungry? Does she recognize us? Because we play as a former employee of Playtime Co. and we come back, right? So she comes up. It's been so long, right? Now, is it because we're an ex-employee coming back after an extended period of time? Is it a note to Sawyer, who might also be coming back? Or because we've seen that the security cameras and stuff have been maintained, you know, was he there the whole time and this couldn't possibly refer to him, right? This opens up some weird possibilities if we're not playing as the player character, but I do believe that we are not. So it doesn't seem like a lot of these trailers end in jump scares. There's one of Catnap where it does end in not quite a jump scare, but you see his face illuminated by a soft red light and it shakes a little bit in that woo, creepy, spooky way. But it's not a jump scare or proposing a threat to any given character. It kind of just looks scary to be scary. So take this with a grain of salt, but it just feels odd. I also wanted to pull up something that Mob did for Chapter 3 with the Smiling Critters. The Nightmare Critters also got their own little Twitter pictures, assets, posters of a sort that I really wanted to look through. So let us jump into that, which should hopefully give us some more perspective on what's to come in Chapter 4. That was not it at all. Great. Okay. Baba Chops, the black sheep of the bunch. I actually didn't know I was going to say that. I feel very affirmed right now.
Yeah.
I feel very affirmed right now. Baba prefers to keep her space, like a lot of space, too much space. She can be distant, quiet, low energy, and it usually requires a lot of coaxing to get her out of the house. Luckily for her, she has some very persistent friends. Hopefully not too persistent. She usually perks up after a while, but the next day, we're right back to the same tune. Aw. Well, that's sad. Like, I get the sense that with these Nightmare Critters, we're not going to have the same sort of happy, enthusiastic, positive story and sentiment. But oddly enough, it feels more realistic, you know? Where it's like, this feels more like an actual person would behave.
Right.
To
We
me.
all know a Baba Chops.
Right. Sometimes we've been a Baba Chops.
We've all been a Baba Chops.
Exactly. Like, we've all had those moments. Here's what sticks out to me, too. Anise?
I have no idea what that is.
What is anise? Anise, Anise, is a flowering plant in the parsley family that's known for its licorice-like flavor and aromatic seeds. It's native to the Eastern Mediterranean, Southwest Asia, and now cultivated in many other regions, I'm sure. I need to double check this because this is obviously some, AI overview. Anise is a medicinal plant rich in flavonoids, malic acid, and caffeic acid. These bioactive compounds with digestive, laxative, carminative properties that also help relieve gas, constipation, abdominal cramping, and indigestion. There is a weird emphasis in this game and this franchise on the intestines, on being able to digest things, right? It was a key point in our, one of our first game theories, where it's like, oh, Huggy Wuggy has a digestive tract. Huggy Wuggy can eat things. This is a really weird smell to give a character. So I'm trying to see if there is some kind of symbolic significance or symbolic meaning behind giving someone this smell. It smells like licorice, though.
Right.
We all love licorice. That's fun.
The only interesting thing I've found related to a niece, I'm going to call it a niece.
A niece. You know, just a niece, not a
Just
nephew.
a niece. No, not a nephew.
Not a nephew,
You
just
don't want
a
to smell
niece.
like your nephew. He smells like he's been rolling around in the mud.
No hate to your nephew, but this is a niece.
I'd rather smell like a niece.
Yeah.
Is that it's used in the flavoring of black jelly beans, and I assume when
Ooh.
it refers to licorice, it's now talking about
Black licorice. Yeah. Interesting.
Not super related, just in the same fact that
Yeah.
they share a color.
Okay. Bet. Let's go over. Oh my gosh, the wrong
Who's
button
next?
again.
Who's up next?
Simon Smoke. Simon Smoke knows he's cool and popular and smells like a nephew, and he makes sure nobody ever forgets it. Axe body spray. Whether showing off for friends or just bragging about one of his accomplishments, it's always a popularity contest with him. Almost always he wins. In truth, he's a colossal jerk, but he does have a knack for getting away with being one. Man, I mean, he has that kind of feel. Like, he looks like he could be an e-boy if he wanted to,
He's got a gold chain.
right?
He's iced out.
He is. He's got
Simon's-
piercings.
Simon Smoke is dripping.
Dude.
He's drippy.
He is a TikTok influencer.
Oh my gosh, 100%.
He's making those like boyfriend POV videos.
He's doing dances with Charlie D'Amelio.
Oh my gosh, for sure. No doubt about it. Scent wood smoke. Wood smoke scent. Not scented candle. No, not a scented candle. I want to know the benefits of wood smoke as a smell. You know, if you smell wood smoke, you know you are being harmed. What?
Huh?
What? Why do I like the smell of wood? What does wood smoke do to your body? Wood smoke exposure has been linked to cancer, reproductive issues such as infant mortality and low birth weight, lung disease, heart attack, stroke, and premature death. Burning wood produces smoke that is made up of gases and tiny particles. Okay, so a bad thing to inhale, not unlike all of the gas imagery that we have seen in this franchise.
Can I throw out why it's probably wood smoke?
Throw it.
It's because he's a dragon. And he breathes fire.
Well, yeah, but the wood part, where's he got the wood?
Well, he's breathing fire.
Yeah, but it's wood. He'd have to be burning wood inside of him to get wood smoke specifically. Why not just smoke?
This one feels just a little more like I'm a dragon. I smell like smoke.
But here's what, Sam, why wood? Why wood?
Because that's what lights on fire most easily.
A lot of things go on fire. Why wood?
It's the most commonly burned thing.
Well, internally?
Well, if you're around a lot of fire, you're going to smell like smoke.
Yeah, but that's just smoke. Wood smoke?
I don't think you can tell what kind of smoke somebody smells like.
Well,
if they've been
apparently you
around a
can
fire.
tell wood. Wood smoke is its own classified smoke smell. Why not like I don't know. What else burns? Clothing? Why not like linen smoke? You know,
I think just-
cigarette smoke?
I think cigarette smoke would be more fitting for this guy,
like-
based on what his description is.
Right? If you're burning ceramic smoke, you put a mug in the microwave that you shouldn't be putting in the microwave and it lights a flame, smoke.
There are different kinds of smoke. I agree with you. I think wood smoke, I don't know why they put the word wood. I think they could have gotten away with just smoke, but I think they went wood smoke because that's just like, when you think of fire, to me, it's like a piece of wood is on fire, a log.
This stresses me out.
I know.
This stresses me out.
This could be one of those situations where I could not be more wrong. To me, this scent just feels like a tongue-in-cheek. He's a dragon. He's going to breathe fire. He's around it all day. He smells like smoke.
But why would wood? Why would wood, Sam? Why would wood?
I guess I don't know, but it's just the most common kind of fire.
Why would wood? Okay.
Let's see if the next one, because anise felt like it had a meaning. It's
Right.
too specific.
It is.
This one, I'm on the fence about. We'll see what the next smell
It's
is.
so hee hee ha ha, but why would? All right. This is Raby Baby. Raby Baby couldn't keep a secret if her life depended on it. If there's one thing in the world she loves, it's gossiping, and she's very practiced at it. She has no concept of privacy or boundaries, and if she's in the room, you can bet she's eavesdropping on someone. Don't worry, if she ever runs out of juicy secrets to talk about, she'll just make some up. Here's what I'm noticing so far.
Yeah.
I feel like Baba Chops is just sad. She's just, she's introverted. She tends to isolate herself, but she has a great time when she's around friends, and then she isolates herself again. That doesn't seem like something that is inherently, like, super toxic, where they're just like, Raby Baby's a gossip, and she'll make up rumors about someone, and you can't trust her. And then Simon Smoke is just a jerk. Full-blown jerk, meanie. Why does he smell like that? No one knows.
Right.
But then Baba Chops is just like, I'm isolated. And then she's happy, and then, again, kind of stuck to her own. So, of course, like, again, the black sheep motif coming back here, right? Like, isolated from the group, a little bit separate from them, but doesn't seem like as mean or potentially unpleasant to be around than the others in the group.
Here's what I'll throw out about these characters. You have 7 tabs of these open.
Yeah.
Thoughts on the 7 deadly sins? Seems like Raby Baby is...
Oh, boy.
Oh, man, I don't even know. Simon Smoke feels like pride, based on his description.
Mm-hmm.
Popularity, he always wins, he's better than you.
Yeah.
This,
Here.
Yeah,
Let's
just-
look up the sins.
please.
All right, 7 deadly sins. Okay, pride, greed, lust, envy, gluttony, wrath, and sloth.
It felt like Baba Chops could be sloth. Could be sloth. Simon could be pride. Raby Baby. I doubt they're gonna have one for lust. Honestly, I doubt there's gonna be a lustful creature here. So maybe this could just
She
be a
lusts
swap
for
in,
that goss,
right?
that hot goss.
Although the scent of bubblegum,
I will throw out something crazy.
please let's get crazy.
You know that rumor that you're told as a kid where if you eat bubblegum, it won't digest for 7 years?
Yes.
Are our smells here related to dying and or the digestive tract in the way that this franchise is obsessed with both of those things?
That's interesting.
Inhaling smoke and then having an intestinal system.
That's very interesting. That seems to make a lot of sense. 2 specifically about digestion already is really interesting.
Right?
Yeah, being
Like,
about how
why?
they died.
Like inhaling the smoke, this like, this gas that aligns with, a more lethal version of the poppy gas, and then bubblegum and anise, because anise is just, why not just say black licorice, right?
Yeah.
It's so specific.
It is.
Here, let's see more of these.
Yeah.
Why would you call it Icky Licky? Why would you call it Icky Licky?
It just makes me think of Icky Vicky from the Fairly Odd Parents.
Oh,
When
Icky Vicky.
Chip Skylark was singing about Icky Vicky, so icky. Just
I-
the thought of being around you makes me so sicky.
Oh man, were you an Icky Vicky fan? Because I was more my shiny teeth and me.
Oh, I mean, you're talking titans of industry right there.
Right, we're hitting the classics.
Yeah, 1A versus 1B.
Woo! Icky Licky. Ugh. Icky is the type of kid to fall behind in a relay race and immediately pin it on a sore knee, even when that's not the case. He's the very definition of a poor sport. Even though he's naturally talented, he's constantly challenging everyone on absolutely everything, and usually without the outcome he expects. Don't worry, he has an excuse already. Scent. Coffee. Coffee is a diuretic. Coffee makes you go to the bathroom more often than not. So again, a digestive aid. Just putting it out there. Just
I mean,
putting it out
you're
there.
100% right.
But also, I'm interested in the sins.
I know.
In the way that many people are. I'm interested in the sins.
There's I feel like there's so many things to look at with these things. Like, first of
Right.
all, the animals that they are, what those animals represent, and they all have a necklace.
Yes. Going back here, we have the skull,
Right.
which feels
Feels
death.
like death incarnate. Yeah.
Yeah, but also, again, with the whole like black and white high contrast thing, right? Mm-hmm. So there's that. Dollars.
The dragon with, like, I mean, that's a common, like, fairy tale thing. Like, dragons love money. Kind of weird to throw dollar chain around him, though.
I've I've never associated with dragons money.
Oh yeah, big time. Dragons love money, and like Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit.
Yeah, I guess I could see like they defend gold
Yes.
quite often.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, that's interesting. This is just blood.
Right, and
Or I
she's a
guess-
bat.
Rabies, yeah, like blood sucking, vampire.
I guess.
Implications.
Yeah, that's how you get rabies. I guess it bites you.
Yeah,
Weird.
bites you in the back.
Ouch.
Ouch, that hurt. Icky licky with a radioactive kind of symbol.
Right. What
Course,
is
we're-
he? Is he a frog?
Looks lizard-esque
Right.
to me, like salamander adjacent.
What the heck are those like? Are those like ears? Those like long brown
What?
strings. Oh, is that just a circle around him?
I think it's just a circle.
Oh, I was like, dude,
I
he's
was
got
like-
antenna or something.
Whoa! He could feel everything around him. Oh my god. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if icky is just like, ooh, radioactive material. It's icky. Icky sticky goo.
Right, but he's licky.
Licky.
He
ugh.
feels like he will. I mean, the symbol is like hazardous or like poison or whatever.
Yeah,
So it
yeah.
feels like he will poison you by licking you. I don't know what animal does that though.
Why does he smell like coffee?
I
That
don't
makes no sense.
I would love to give him a whiff though.
Yeah, wake me up. It's like the equivalent of Darude Sandstorm in the morning. All right, Alistair Gator. This is an interesting pendant to have. Alistair is an all-around lazy guy. He's
Sloth.
chill, sure, but if he could, he'd spend all day in the water doing pretty much nothing. He isn't a fan of the whole put an effort and see an effort rewarded bit. He's much more of a believer of the philosophy. Good things have to come to me eventually, so I just need to wait around for it. He's still waiting. Scent, sandalwood. It seems like, to go back to the sins, as we all do,
Right.
we have pride, we have a couple for sloth.
This seems much more clearly sloth, if
Right?
these are related.
So it kind of calls into, it feels like they don't fit in cleanly, but also 7 is a very significant number. So whenever there is 7, you have to, it's worth looking into, right? Sandalwood. Sandalwood scent benefits? Calms your mind, soothes. Huh. This feels to be the most pleasant one. Improves sleep. I could tie into it potentially. There's a lot of sleep, night, go to bed. Recurring bits. Here. Benefits. Anti-inflammatory, reducing anxiety, wound healing, fighting cancer. Potential side effects. Irritation. This one, I don't know. This feels weirdly calming, or the most without. It falls apart a little bit. If you go with the interpretation of it helps you fall asleep, then yeah, I could see how that ties in thematically, right? But the digestive thing is out the window. I mean, if it's like wood dust, inhaling that in is painful. But sandalwood is a pretty commonly used scent, especially in candles. So, a class of woods from trees in the genus Santalum. The woods are heavy, yellow, and fine-grained, and unlike many other aromatic woods, they retain their fragrance for decades. Sandalwood oil is extracted from the woods. Sandalwood is often cited as one of the most expensive woods in the world. I will say wood has now come up a couple times between Simon Smoke and Alistair Gator. So I don't know why we keep going back to wood, because now these two things feel connected, right? But that brings back the question, why wood? Why wood? And there's this one. Tui.
Hawk.
Him with that hawk, Tui. Look, all I'm saying, look, we have Icky Licky,
Right.
Raby Baby, Tui. We know what they wanted to do.
We know what they wanted to do.
The Dewey with the Tui. Tui. It's pronounced Tui, if you didn't know, is a self-proclaimed trash rodent. Me too. When he's not busy eating and collecting garbage, this is gluttony, if it were one.
Yep.
He's a lively conversationalist. He talks a lot, same, which is made all the more surprising by him having shockingly little to say. Hopefully not same. If you ever need someone to provide insightful commentary or some random piece of junk, Tui's your guy, and Tui would make the ideal new host of GT Live.
Or he could start his own podcast called Talk Tui. I mean, this description, that joke writes itself. He's talking a lot. Got to start a podcast, brother.
Sam.
Yeah. Sometimes it's too easy.
Sam. You ever hear something that hurts? Because I just did. Scent. Petrichor.
What does that word mean?
It is one of Matt's favorite words. It is the smell of rain, or like it's about to rain. But that feels so removed from here. Okay, let's go. A distinctive earthy and usually pleasant odor that is associated with rainfall, especially when following a warm, dry period, and that arises from a combination of volatile plant oils and geosmin released from the soil into the air and by the ozone carried by downdrafts. What's this? Let's see. Geosmin? It seems like that's what it is. A volatile organic compound that is formed especially by soil-dwelling bacteria and aquatic cyanobacteria that may contribute to the earthy, pleasant odor of petrichor, or impart a disagreeable musty taste and odor to drinking water and certain fish. So this contributes to the smell of petrichor.
Do rats, please excuse my ignorance, did they live underground? Like in the dirt?
I think they can burrow, right? Do rats go underground? Yes, they do burrow.
Okay, that seems to make sense. He's got that like soily, earthy smell to him. You seem very confused about that.
He's wearing a fish.
Yes.
This is absorbed by fish, right?
Yes.
That feels weirdly specific. If you're thinking about trash in a given cartoon, right, you've probably seen the fish head with the skeleton and the bones between that and the tail, right? It's associated with trash. This is a trash rodent. But the scent of petrichor, knowing that it is caused by this thing, this compound, that is associated with fish, feels weirdly specific, and like that's multiple points to tie back to this symbol on like hanging from his chest, which I don't know if we've gotten multiple points of connection tying to any of what we have, any of what the others have as their charms.
Pretty much all of the other ones have been completely unmentioned and like unrelated to their descriptions.
Right? Where this one is like weirdly connected. I don't know fully what to make of that, but it's a choice.
Yeah, I think this is like showing, like you said, the iconic silhouette of trash.
Right? It's just...
And eating. He loves eating and he loves garbage. So the fact that he's wearing a piece of eaten garbage around his neck makes sense.
It does. And I'm probably overthinking it. I see petrichor. That's a very specific scent that is not really connected to any of what we've looked at so far. It feels like an outlier. A pretty big one. It's probably worth investigation. I'd be interested to see how Tui factors in and if that means anything additional, but it is called out. And then we have Maggie Mako. And oh my gosh, scary to me. Maggie is always thinking about her belly. She's happiest with food in her mouth, and believe us, she's not picky. She loves sweets, but veggies, bleh. Don't be surprised if she takes your health eating habits, a vice with a dabble of sugar, some chocolate syrup, whipped cream, and a big cherry on top, all while laughing at you profusely. Scent, chocolate, which makes sense with the whole, eating sweets and things, but dark chocolate is also a digestive aid, isn't it?
Unsure. I know it's supposed to be good for you in a couple of different ways.
The high fiber content in dark chocolate makes it a great source of prebiotics, which are fuel the good bacteria in your gut needs to. I'm not getting much from that. That's not making sense here. I could do the AI one, but here, I just want to say benefits. Powerful source of antioxidants, improves blood pressure, raises HDL and lowers LDL, heart risk, could improve brain function, protect your skin. Okay, so maybe not. I mean, high in fiber. If it's high in fiber, then that does help, right? But it's a lot of laziness and a lot of eating. A lot of eating, if not in the description of the character, which feels interesting. I mean, we already saw Baba Chops just go absolutely ham on Dog Day. It's weird that they're all defined by their hunger or their laziness, though. That's so specific.
Right? There's a couple that are like really similar.
Yeah. Why?
I don't know.
Why are they all in that group?
I don't know.
Huh. Friends, what have we learned here today? What have we gathered from these teasers and from these interesting nightmare critters, pictures, posters, frames, whatever you call it, right? One, the nightmare critters are involved, but they don't seem to be the primary antagonists. They might just be like a secondary cast, and Baba Chops is for sure the outcast of all of them. It seems like eating, digestion, and that portion of these organic toys is going to come back into play in some way, shape, or form. Yarnaby is going to be more of our big bad, but it seems like we're also going to get some more information about Dr. Harley Sawyer in this next installment. We are very clearly not the player character in this second teaser, but it seems like there are some recurring themes that keep popping up, especially related to eating and inhaling, which is odd. The eyes are troubling me still. The eyes are really troubling me. Why? There's so much here. But we are already way up on time. So, Tom, I need you to figure out what's happening with the eye thing and see if there's anything else you can find about the scent and the ties between the nightmare critters, because that feels very specific in how similar some of them are. Who's to say why? But I think that about concludes our initial analysis of what we know about what's coming in Chapter 4. So I'm excited to see what happens. It seems like there's not so much time to wait, just a couple months, and you can bet your bottom dollar that we're going to be playing that game here on GT Live when it comes out in January. So with that, Sam, before we wrap up, are there any other imparting thoughts you would like to make known?
I just want to tell everybody that I want you all now, whenever you hear the phrase Poppy Playtime, think about Poppy from Trolls.
Whoa,
think about...
Wait, what? I mean, I guess I open the floor for your thoughts. So
yeah, these are my imparting thoughts.
Speak.
Thank you.
Speak.
I have been plagued with this since Poppy Playtime launched, probably 4 years ago, whatever it was. Go watch the movie Trolls. Justin Timberlake, Anna Kendrick. Great movie. Shout out to Trolls. Okay, it'll change the way you think of Poppy Playtime every time, because you'll hear Poppy and you'll think of this tiny little pink doll, and it'll ruin your life. So
it'll ruin your life.
It will.
Those are big words, Sam.
In the best way. It'll ruin, when your life gets ruined in a good way.
How often are you thinking about Poppy from Trolls?
Every time I hear the word Poppy Playtime.
Like
every
good thoughts
time.
about Poppy? I've never seen Trolls.
You should.
Any of the
It'll
Trolls
ruin your
movies.
life in a great way.
Do I want my life ruined at all?
In
Whether
the best
way
way.
is good, bad, best, or worse.
Think about like the first time you had an everything bagel and you were like, whoa, that ruined your life in a good way. Because you're like, now every other bagel sucks.
I don't know if I think in that extreme of a way.
Wow.
I still value a good egg bagel, I still value, even if it's just a Poppy bagel. But now, if I'm eating a Poppy bagel,
yeah.
I'm going to think about Poppy
There
from
it
Trolls.
is.
And now Poppy from Poppy Playtime. So really, it's just a domino effect of ways that Poppies can appear in your life.
Absolutely. And that's the lesson we want to take away from here, is that everybody can disagree. You disagree about loving everything bagels and they're changing your life,
I love everything bagels,
but they didn't ruin your life in
No.
a good way.
No.
They ruined mine in the best way,
Okay.
and that's okay.
That's okay. Are you going to be okay?
I'm going to be great.
Okay. And I'm going to be great now that we have wrapped up this episode. Thank you all so much for watching. And remember, this wasn't a live stream, but it was a video. A video for you. See ya!